Have you ever stopped and asked yourself this? What if the food you eat every single day isn't just feeding you, but quietly deciding how long your kidneys can keep working? I'm Dr. Mark Ellis, and I want you to listen closely because kidney damage almost never starts with pain. There's no alarm, no warning sign, no moment where your body tells you to stop. It happens silently, meal after meal, year after year, until one day people are shocked by lab results they never expected. And here's the urgent truth. Most Americans never hear some of the most familiar foods on your plate can either give your kidneys a chance to rest or force them to work harder every single day without you realizing it. Rice in particular is one of the biggest hidden factors. It looks harmless. It feels comforting. But depending on the type and the way it's prepared, rice can either reduce toxin buildup or quietly accelerate kidney decline. That's why in this video, I'm going to show you 3 specific types of rice that can help your kidneys flush toxins and lower daily stress. One of them is already sitting in many kitchens across the US, but it's almost always eaten the wrong way. And once you understand this difference, you'll never look at a simple bowl of rice the same way again. Let's start with the food most people were told to fear first: white rice. The moment you hear the word white, you've probably been conditioned to think empty, unhealthy, or even dangerous, especially if you've ever worried about diabetes or kidney disease. Many people I speak with tell me the same thing. The first thing I cut out was white rice because I thought I was protecting my kidneys. And on the surface, that decision sounds logical. But for the kidneys, logic and reality don't always match. Here's what almost no one explains clearly. White rice is milled, meaning the outer layers are removed during processing. That's exactly what makes it less appealing in trendy nutrition circles. But that same process dramatically lowers potassium and phosphorus. And for stressed or weakened kidneys, those 2 minerals are not harmless. When potassium and phosphorus build up in the blood, the kidneys must work harder to filter, balance, and compensate. Over time, that constant extra workload can quietly lead to fatigue, swelling, and declining kidney function long before pain ever appears. I once spoke with a man in his early 60s who had done everything right on paper. He cut out salt, avoided red meat, and switched to whole grains because he believed they were healthier. Yet his lab results kept getting worse. Creatinine slowly climbed, energy dropped, and his legs began to swell at night. When we looked closely, one simple pattern stood out. Nearly every meal was loaded with high mineral grains. When he replaced just one of those meals with properly prepared white rice, paired with vegetables and a small portion of lean protein, digestion improved within weeks. More importantly, the daily strain on his kidneys eased. From a physiological standpoint, this makes sense. White rice is easy to digest and gentle on the gut. When digestion becomes simpler, the body doesn't waste energy breaking food down. That energy can instead be redirected toward fluid balance, circulation, and waste removal jobs your kidneys are already struggling to keep up with. Many kidney-focused dietary guidelines include white rice, not because it's perfect, but because it's predictable, light, and less demanding on a failing filtration system. Of course, this is where many people make a critical mistake. White rice is not a standalone solution. Eating large bowls of plain white rice day after day, drowned in salty sauces or processed seasonings, defeats the purpose entirely. The benefit comes from how it's used. Rinsing the rice thoroughly before cooking removes excess starch. Cooking it with more water and draining the excess keeps it lighter. Pairing it with steamed vegetables, garlic, onions, herbs, and modest portions of protein turns white rice into a clean foundation, rather than a nutritional burden. Think of white rice like a calm road for your kidneys to travel on. It doesn't push them to accelerate, and it doesn't throw obstacles in their path. It simply allows them to keep moving without unnecessary resistance. And sometimes, especially for aging kidneys, that reduction in daily stress is exactly what slows decline and preserves function over time. But understanding white rice is only the first layer of the picture, because there's another type of rice that behaves very differently inside your body, and this next one could change how you think about blood sugar, energy, and kidney stress altogether. If white rice is about reducing immediate strain on the kidneys, Basmati rice is about something deeper and more dangerous that most people overlook: metabolic stress. Because kidney damage doesn't only come from minerals like potassium and phosphorus. It also comes from unstable blood sugar, quietly damaging the tiny blood vessels that keep your kidneys alive. And this is where basmati rice behaves very differently from most other rice on the table. Many people believe that once kidney problems appear, all rice becomes the enemy. I hear this fear constantly, but basmati rice, especially white basmati, breaks that assumption. It's long grain, aromatic, and lighter by nature, but what truly matters happens after you eat it. Compared to common short grain white rice, basmati has a lower glycemic index, meaning glucose enters the bloodstream more slowly. That slower rise matters because sharp blood sugar spikes don't just affect diabetes, they quietly damage the microscopic blood vessels inside the kidneys, the very structures responsible for filtration. I remember speaking with a woman in her late 50s who was trying to eat clean after being told her kidney function was declining. She avoided sugar completely, but still felt exhausted after meals. Every afternoon she crashed. When we looked closer, the pattern was clear. Fast-digesting carbs were causing repeated glucose spikes followed by drops. After switching to modest portions of white basmati rice paired with vegetables and fish, something changed. Her energy stabilized. The heavy, foggy feeling after meals faded. And over time, her lab trends stopped worsening as quickly. The food didn't heal her kidneys, but it stopped quietly pushing them closer to failure. Scientifically, this aligns with what we know about kidney health. Stable blood sugar reduces oxidative stress and protects vascular integrity. The kidneys are dense with tiny blood vessels, and when those vessels are repeatedly hit with glucose spikes, filtration efficiency declines. Basmati rice helps smooth that curve. Its slower digestion provides steady energy instead of forcing the kidneys to respond to repeated metabolic shocks. This is especially important for people managing both kidney strain and insulin resistance, a combination far more common than most realize. There's another subtle advantage most people miss. Because basmati rice is aromatic and fluffy, smaller portions feel satisfying. That naturally limits mineral intake without requiring strict portion control or constant anxiety around food. And when prepared properly, rinsed, well cooked in plenty of water, and kept simple, it becomes an ideal base for kidney-conscious meals. Steamed vegetables, herbs, garlic, onion, and lean protein complement it without adding sodium or hidden stressors that cancel out its benefits. Some people choose to mix a small portion of brown basmati with white basmati to add fiber while keeping potassium moderate. That balance supports digestion and blood sugar control without overwhelming weakened kidneys. Over time, these small choices compound. Meals feel lighter, energy stays more consistent, and the kidneys are spared from yet another daily burden they never asked for. But here's the part that truly surprises most people. Even when mineral load and blood sugar are handled correctly, there's still one type of rice that can quietly undo all of this progress if it's eaten the wrong way. And that final factor may be the difference between slowing kidney decline and accelerating it without realizing it. By this point, you might be thinking you figured it out. Keep minerals low, keep blood sugar steady, and your kidneys are safer. But this is where jasmine rice enters the conversation, and it's where many people get confused. Jasmine rice is often dismissed as just another white rice, or worse, labeled as unsafe because of its effect on blood sugar. The truth is more nuanced, and for the kidneys, nuance matters more than rules. Jasmine rice is traditionally consumed in its white form, which means much of the potassium and phosphorus found in the outer layers has already been removed. For kidneys, under pressure, that alone is significant. But what really makes jasmine rice different is its texture and how the body responds to it. When cooked properly, jasmine rice becomes soft, aromatic, and slightly sticky. For people who feel weak, bloated, or exhausted after meals, that softness translates into easier chewing, faster digestion, and less energy wasted just processing food. And when digestion becomes easier, the kidneys aren't forced to compensate for stress happening elsewhere in the body. I think of a patient I once spoke with who described every meal as a gamble. Some foods left her feeling heavy, swollen, and drained for hours. Others felt safe but boring. When she reintroduced jasmine rice in small portions paired with vegetables and healthy fats, the difference surprised her. Meals felt comforting again. She didn't feel weighed down. And perhaps most importantly, she stopped overeating out of frustration. That emotional relief matters because chronic stress and poor digestion create a cascade of hormonal responses that indirectly strain kidney function over time. Now let's address the concern everyone brings up. Jasmine rice does not have a low glycemic index. In fact, compared to basmati, it's higher, but higher does not mean harmful by default. Blood sugar response is not determined by one food in isolation. It's shaped by portion size, meal composition, and eating speed. When jasmine rice is eaten slowly in modest amounts and combined with fiber-rich vegetables, lean protein, or healthy fats, the glucose rise becomes far more controlled. This matters because repeated blood sugar spikes damage blood vessels, including the delicate network that allows the kidneys to filter waste efficiently. From a practical standpoint, preparation makes all the difference. Rinsing jasmine rice several times removes excess surface starch. Cooking it with slightly more water creates a lighter, more digestible texture. Avoiding heavy sauces, fried toppings, and processed seasonings keeps sodium and hidden additives from undoing its benefits. In this form, jasmine rice becomes a gentle base rather than a metabolic trigger. Some people even rotate it with basmati or mix small amounts together to maintain variety without increasing kidney stress. Jasmine rice works best when it's treated with intention. It's not about eating more, it's about eating smarter. A smaller bowl that leaves you satisfied, energized, and comfortable is far more protective than a healthy meal that quietly exhausts your system. And when food stops feeling like a burden, consistency becomes possible. That consistency is what gives the kidneys a chance to stabilize rather than constantly react. Before you go, I want you to remember this. Your kidneys are not failing because you did one thing wrong. They weaken slowly, quietly, through thousands of small daily choices. And the good news is, those same small choices are exactly how you protect them. You don't need extreme diets or fear-based rules. You just need to reduce the daily stress your kidneys face one meal, one habit, one decision at a time. If you're watching this because you're worried about your own health or someone you love, know that you're already taking the right step by learning. If this information helped you see your food and habits more clearly, take a moment to save this video so you can come back to it when you need a reminder. And make sure you subscribe to the channel because I share simple science-based guidance to help you protect your kidneys, lower daily strain, and avoid the silent mistakes that lead to serious problems later on. New videos are released regularly to keep you informed with the latest medical insights in a way that's easy to understand and apply. Most importantly, don't lose hope. Kidneys don't recover overnight, but they respond to consistency. When you give them less to fight against each day, they begin to stabilize, and in many cases, they function better than you expect. Start where you are. Make one change today. Over time, your body will thank you with better energy, less discomfort, and a healthier future built step by step.